entity recognition and linking on historical newspapers. This CLEF lab was organized with my colleague Matteo Romanello, Alex Flukiger, and Simon Clematide, and we are from EPFL and University of Zurich in Switzerland, and we all work in the context of the Impresso media monitoring of the past. So what is HYPE in a nutshell? HYPE stands for Identifying Historical People, Places, and Other Entities, and it is about non-entity processing on historical documents. What we consider specifically is historical newspapers, such as you can see here, with the reproduction of facsimile of front pages of different newspapers from the past. So this is the type of material we are dealing with in this shared task. We consider two tasks, name entity recognition and classification, and name entity linking. It is the first shared task on such material, and for this first edition of HYPE, we had 13 participating teams. So why organizing such tasks on such kind of documents? Well, two reasons. First, on the one hand, we have the emergence of large-scale archive of digitized contents, thanks to massive digitization campaign by archive and institutions. And on the other hand, we have many scholars who wish to retrieve contents and to explore such a digitized historical collection. So for this, obviously, NLP can help. However, it's not easy to apply directly NLP on historical texts because of many difficulties. The first one is, for example, historical spelling variations. Then, obviously, quite noisy input, which is often generated via optical character recognition. Then we face the challenge of multilingualism because data of the past is not all in English. And finally, the challenge of lack of data with lack of training data and limited linguistic resource or limited coverage of existing knowledge base. So in this context, the objective of HYPE was threefold. First, we wanted to strengthen the robustness of existing approach to name entity recognition on such a material, historical, noisy, challenging historical document. Then we want to enable performance comparison because so far it was not possible to compare the performance of existing approach because of lack of benchmark dataset. And finally, on the long run, we want to foster efficient semantic indexing of digitized cultural heritage collection. This shared task is organized in the context of the Impresso project, which aim at mining 200 years of historical newspapers. This project is carried out by 3 institutions, EPFL, University of Zurich, and C2DH, and has a support of various archive institutions, as you can see here, and is financed by the Swiss National Science Foundation. The main output, the main asset produced out of this project is an interface which allows to search and explore historical newspapers. Among many other things that you can do, you can search for named entities. Here you see a screen of the search phase, and we can look for Otto von Bismarck entity, for example, and we get recommendation about entities which have been recognized and disambiguated towards such a person. Then one can have a close reading of articles, looking at the facsimile and the OCR transcription alongside, with a lot of semantic annotation that we extract from the sources. And here we see a kind of summary of information about Otto von Bismarck, an entity recognized in this specific article. We can also collect information about named entities in a kind of ID card, which gather many facets collected around this entity in the corpus, and obviously it's possible to browse a different mention of an entity. So that's a bit the context, and if we want to build tools which really are used for digital scholar, we need to have quite accurate named entity processing. This is why one of the motivation of the HYPE shared task, and to really build a robust solution. So we consider 2 tasks. The first one is named entity recognition and classification with 2 settings. First one considering coarse type, the second fine grain types. So here you see the entity types that we use for this first task. The one which are at high level are for the NERC coarse setting, and the second one are for the NERC fine setting. In this fine setting, we also ask systems to recognize entity components, meaning the parts which compose the entity, such as the title, the name, the function, etc. We also ask to detect metonymy and to recognize nested entity. Here we see an example. So in the first line, you can have an idea of the difficulty of the kind of input. We can barely read that this string is for Morocco. And then on line 3 and 4, you have an example of a French person annotation, Monsieur Pichon, ministre des Affaires étrangères, annotated as a person, but also have the information that there is a title, a name, and a function. The second task that we address is entity linking. We ask system to link towards Wikidata or to nil when there is not the entity in the knowledge base. And we have again two settings, one where we provide the mentioned boundaries. This is entity linking only, and one where system has to do all the job, and it's end-to-end linking. Here we can see the same example where the person, Monsieur Pichon, has been linked to his corresponding ID in Wikidata. In order to facilitate the participation, we define several task bundles which combine different type of tasks, and participating team could choose one bundle per language and submit up to 3 runs. And everything was summarized in the participation guidelines. Well, to carry out such a task, we had to have some data. And as I said, no data exists on this. So we had to build a corpus, and we consider digitized newspaper for this, taken from the archive of National Library of Switzerland, Luxembourg, and in the US. We consider a large time span from 1738 to approximately today, meaning more than 200 years. And we have documents in French, German, and English. What we did is obviously a random sampling, but we additionally manually triaged the document in order to keep only journalistic contents. That is to say, we excluded feuilleton, crossword, meteo, table, etc., as well as very extreme OCR noisy document in order to, that even not a human can read. So we excluded this, and we did not provide different OCR version, meaning that the system are confronted with a real life setting with OCR of different quality due to digitization date or preservation of the document, etc., etc. Once we have the corpus selected, we annotate it with the help of two lingual annotator and also the task organizer, and each annotator was trained on a mini reference in order to ensure that he had understood well the guidelines. We use the Inception platform for annotating the document, and the Impresso project was, the Hype task was a pilot project for the Inception platform. This is why we could ask for some adaptation, such as here you can see in the screenshot the fact of being able to see the facsimile alongside the OCR. Despite all four to have quite good guidelines for complete, we had many adaptation difficulties. First, for NERC, there was some difficulty into determining the mentioned boundary of entities in the case of very long sentence. Here we can see Monsieur Courtois d'Andoagua with a long apposition title, Doyen du Corps Diplomatique et Ministre, etc. This posed difficulty to annotators who hesitate with how to do. It's not easy to have guidelines which are valid for multiple languages. For example, the German content were not always easy to handle. What is to be annotated or not sometimes as well pose a problem. For the example of organization, does a Commission Impériale or die Französische Regierung are an organization or not? And we have obviously the problem of historical facet and the definition of the type of an entity at a certain time. Is Savoie or Moldavia a region or a country in the 19th century or not? When we look at entity linking, we had similar problem. Obviously, linking mentions in historical documents require quite some historical knowledge, but not only, because people who are mentioned then there are not only VIPs of today, but people who were known at that time and that we do not know today. So this requires quite some Sherlock Holmes skills. We need to really investigate who is who, and this takes quite some time. Another difficulty relates to the fact that the historical statuses of entities were unequally represented in knowledge base. To give it an example, some countries have one QID in Wikidata, while others have one per each historical facet of its evolution. So for Germany, we had 8 QID for the period that we are interested in. And this was a problem of the coherence of the annotation granularity, which we tried to compensate with a fuzzy setting in the entity linking. The corpus that we composed is, consists of 560 articles with a total of 450,000 tokens and almost 19,000 linked mentions. We should notice that the corpus is more important for French and German than for English. English was introduced later on in the short task, and the distribution across time is not even due to the difficulty of collecting adequate material over the whole period, as you can see in this figure. Another point to observe is that almost 25% of mention could not be linked to an entity in Wikidata. And here is a distribution of the nil entities nil mentioned across across time, and contrary to our assumption, they are quite evenly distributed. We would have assumed that entities of the past were not present. We released the corpus as an IOB format, trained devs test for English and German, but not for, sorry, for French and German, but there was no trend set for English. One point to keep in mind is that given the noisy input, we did not apply sentence segmentation nor sophisticated tokenization, but we provided all information for participating teams so that they could be able to reproduce meaningful sentence, meaning that what we have here is only the line-based newspaper column input. Additionally, we provide document metadata, and the whole corpus is released on an open license on GitHub and Zenodo. We finally provide as well auxiliary resources in the form of in-domain word and character embeddings for all three languages trained over the corpus that we have in our project, and these embeddings are available for download, and the contextualized embeddings are already integrated into the FLAIR framework. As per the evaluation, we consider entities as a unit of reference, and we use macro and micro precision recall and F measure. Only the micro metric was used for the official evaluation and the final ranking. We consider two evaluation scenarios for both NERC and entity linking, so strict and fuzzy. For NERC, strict means that we need to recognize exact mention boundaries, while for fuzzy, overlapping boundaries are allowed. For entity linking, as per the mention recognition, it is always based on overlapping mention boundaries, because we are more interested in the accuracy of the link than in the accuracy of the string recognition in this task. For the strict entity linking setting, we consider only the top link, whereas for the fuzzy, we consider as well historical mapping. That is to say, if you are supposed to give the QID of Germany and you give the QID of the Confederation of the Rhine, which is historically related to this entity, just because of the time things, both are considered as a valid answer. And systems were also allowed to submit more than one link, and metrics were also computed for different cutoff at 3 and at 5. The scores were provided to the participant beforehand, and after the evaluation, we published an evaluation toolkit which allowed to reproduce the whole shared task. So as I said, 40 registration, we had 40 registration for the task. In the end, 13 teams participated, all to the NERC course, 3 to FINE and 5 to entity linking in both settings. These teams submitted 75 runs, which reflect the proportion of the data that we offered, and 6 teams work on all languages. And we have today 11 working note papers. As the main feature of the participating systems, well, all but 2 teams apply neural-based approach for NERC. Most of them work with contextualized embeddings, especially BERT, and they all experimented with various input embeddings being computed at character level, subword, word, on historical or contemporary data, or type level or contextualized. So this was an important experimentation to do in order to improve the system. Some of the teams also tried to improve the newspaper line-based format by really trying to reconstruct linguistically motivated sentence and to deal with word hyphenation, and this proved to be quite helpful. Now, an overview of both NERC and EL. Results first with NERC. As I said, neural systems with strong embedding resource prevail. Not surprisingly, the performance correlates with the amount of training and dev data that we have provided. And we observe that in the neural settings, the BERT-based systems are kind of better than the BLSTM. The performance for NERC show great diversities, but are somehow more better than expected, especially for French, where they are almost on par with name entity recognition on contemporary text. Here we can observe that 6 teams have a fuzzy F-score above 0.8. With respect to NERC FINE, this task is obviously more difficult because there is 12 class to recognize, and name entity components show kind of reasonable performance, which which open good prospects for the task of knowledge-based population, for example, or biography reconstruction. As per entity linking performance are lower and as diverse as for the NESC. Obviously, in the end-to-end entity linking setting, the error propagation coming from the mention recognition has an impact. However, when we provide the mention and we look at the entity linking only, performance are not a lot better, which kind of suggests that it's more important to be able to deal with the noise than it doesn't help to have the right mention. If we provide the system the possibility to give more than one link, the performance increase for all systems with cutoff at 3 and at 5, which shows the importance of ranking the results. Overall, what helps is to use BERT to try to actively tackle the problem of noise, of word definition and sentence segmentation, and to use in-domain resources. Before concluding, I would like to highlight two things. First, in order to gauge the impact of article publication date on system performance, we try to analyze the variation of F1 score as a function of time. The initial hypothesis here was that the older the article, the more difficult it is to extract and link the mention it contains. But in general, we observe that there doesn't seem to be a strong correlation between the article publication date and F1 score. Another observation or analysis we did was to assess the impact of noisy entity on the performance. So we try to evaluate the impact of noise by evaluating system with different noise levels. Here, the level of noise is defined as the next normalized Levenstein distance between the surface form and the corrected manual transcription. For both tasks, NESC and NEL, we observe kind of remarkable differences between performances, whether it's on noisy or non-noisy mention. And already very little noise, such as 0.1 Levenstein distance, kind of really severely affect the performance. And finally, we can observe that the greatest variation between the system at the medium noise level are the greatest. So we can infer that the most robust system get their competitive advantage when they deal with this medium noise level. As a conclusion, the HYPE evaluation shared task provided the opportunity to test the robustness of NESC and EL approach on a very challenging historical material, and also gives the opportunity to gain new insight into domain and language adaptation. Neural-based systems prevail, and they need to be, when they are provided with strong resources and they can run on proper segmented text, they are capable of dealing quite well with historical and noisy input. As per linking nested entities and entity components, there is still quite some room for improvement. Overall, this confirms that performance are affected by OCR noise, but we cannot see a correlation between document publication date and performances. We invite you to come this afternoon to the session dedicated to the system between 3 and 6:30. In the end, HYPE has contributed to advance the state of the art on entity processing and towards efficient semantic indexing of historical material. It also gives the possibility to release a data set which can be reused, a scorer, as well as annotation guidelines. As future direction, we consider perhaps organizing a second edition of HYPE in 21 with more document type and additional languages. This task could not have been possible without the help of many people, which we would like to thank here, the CLEF organizer, all the teams, the institution which provided the resource, member of the advisory board, Richard, Clemens, Sophie, and David, the Inception project team for their support, Camille, Gerold, Emmanuel, and Milaria for the help with the annotation, and the SNF for the funding of the project. Thank you for your attention.